Hello and welcome to another edition of UK Crime Caught on Camera. In this one, we're looking at a variety of crimes with convicted crooks from all over Blighty. This footage shows a pair of rogue traders preying upon a vulnerable pensioner with dementia. The two took their victim into a jewellery store and had their mark buy a £3,500 bracelet to pay up front for roof repairs. Now that was a lie, and there was never any roof repairs. They actually cold called their victim, telling him he needed work, quoting a £5,000 price tag for it and saying it had to be paid up front with no paperwork. The pensioner told them he had no cash, but they told him to go to the bank, and so he did. Now, the bank actually refused the request, noting how odd it was, so the victim returned home only for the pair to put him in their car and then drive him to other branches. These further withdrawal attempts were also refused. And so, they took the pensioner to this jewellery shop where he paid £3,500 for a bracelet which the rogues took, and something police never recovered. But that's not all. They also pressured a separate individual into paying £300 for work to cut some bushes, after which they demanded a further £1,000. This victim's father sent the payment via bank, but again the bank blocked it. They were sentenced to 2 years in jail. They each pleaded guilty to 3 charges of attempted theft and 2 charges of fraud at a previous hearing. These 2 individuals have been jailed after many cars were stolen in the Black Country. They broke into victims' homes while they were sleeping. Over a 4-month period, these individuals stole 15 vehicles with a total value of £250,000. They snapped door locks to steal car keys from properties. Security camera footage, forensics and ANPR data helped coppers identify the car thieves. They admitted conspiracy to commit burglary and conspiracy to steal motor vehicles when they appeared at Birmingham Crown Court. One was jailed for 5 years, while the other was sentenced to 4 years and 2 months in prison. Now this one's got moves, the illicit kind that is. What you're watching here is a thief using what the police described as a dance to distract his victims in Birmingham city centre. This is summer 2024. Police say he'd approach his victims, interact with them and use the dance to get close to them. And while dancing, guess what? He'd used sleight of hand to nick their bank cards and phones. Yet the only folks to bust a move here were the cops. Police used CCTV footage and facial recognition to ID the dancing pickpocket. He admitted 4 counts of theft and 4 counts of fraud by false representation and was jailed for 24 weeks. He was also ordered to pay £2,240 in compensation to those he stole from. What you're watching here is a shoplifting trolley gang who stole £130,000 worth of goods between January 2022 and February 2024. They targeted stores in Suffolk, Somerset, Surrey and Cornwall. Essentially, they'd go in, fill the trolley right up and then leave with zero attempt to pay for the goods they'd just shoplifted. They then sold the loot in their own criminal supermarket chain at a reduced rate. PC Ben Marshall of Surrey Police was tasked with investigating a case of shoplifting at a Tesco in Guildford. He noticed links and similarities with other cases across the counties, and soon ID'd all 6 of the Trolley gang. But that also presented a challenge: 6 thieves living in Essex who'd committed crimes across 13 force areas. The chance of nabbing all at once were low, so he sent them a letter advising them they were under investigation for theft and gave them 2 weeks to turn themselves in. And a lawyer representing the gang responded. They were all soon charged and convicted. Still to come on UK Crime Caught on Camera. Someone gets 18 months for choking a cop. But before that, we're in Plymouth, where a shop worker is about to defend himself against a knife man using a mop. The knife man entered the store armed with a blade which was hidden in a pizza box. He can be seen brandishing the knife towards a shop worker, who managed to protect himself with a mop handle and a wet floor sign. Three young men entered the store unaware of what is happening inside. The knife man turns on them, lunges at them, and chases them out of the shop while pointing the knife at them. Another man who was walking home from a long shift at work was then confronted by the thug who chased him along the street. He was seen catching up with the victim and plunging a knife into his abdomen. The victim was stabbed twice before managing to push him away, as other members of the public came to the victim's aid. Police were called and arrived on scene. He was still slashing out towards officers, was sprayed with incapacitant spray, before eventually dropping the knife. He was taken into custody and later charged with attempted murder. As a result of the assault, the victim was rushed to hospital with serious and potentially life-threatening injuries, including a collapsed lung and perforated diaphragm. He was operated on before spending significant time in recovery. The knife man from Plymouth pleaded guilty to unlawful wounding, possession of a bladed article in a public place, assaulting a police officer, and affray. During the trial in February, he was found not guilty of attempted murder and wounding with intent during the incident. He was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. He was given an indefinite hospital order under Section 37 of the Mental Health Act by a judge at Truro Crown Court. This bodycam footage shows a thug with his arm around a police officer's neck, threatening that he was going to choke the officer out. In August 2024, police say officers were called to an address where the man was being verbally abusive to the occupant whilst drunk. During his arrest, he became aggressive toward the officer, wrestling him to the floor. He put the officer in a headlock, ever tightening his arm around his neck, taunting and threatening that he was going to choke out the officer. The second officer, who had been upstairs with the victim, quickly came to his colleague's aid, and the officers were able to break the man's grip. He was later charged with criminal damage, intentional strangulation, and possession of a Class B drug, cannabis. He pleaded guilty at a court hearing in December before appearing at Chester Crown Court on January 31st, where he was sentenced to 18 months in prison. This is the moment a gang of tooled-up thugs launched a road rage attack on a group of bin men. The men targeted the refuse collectors in Stoke-on-Trent, armed with a gun, an axe, and a sledgehammer. The shocking scenes erupted in broad daylight as the men launched a revenge attack in March 2023. One can be seen jumping from his car and punching a bin man 3 times in the face after he was angered by an earlier near miss with the bin lorry. At one point, the man, a former bin man himself, starts smashing up the lorry with a lollipop stick. One refuse collector was taken to hospital with head, facial, and foot injuries after the attack. Around half an hour later, the gang targeted a different bin lorry. This time, they were armed with an axe, a sledgehammer, and a gun. One proceeded to smash the driver's window with the axe and struck all 3 refuse workers with it. Another hit the lorry with the sledgehammer, smashing the windows before the other thug shot at the bin lorry. One of the dead men was taken to hospital with facial, head and leg injuries. The second had a head injury and the third had head and leg injuries. All 3 thugs from Stoke-on-Trent were jailed collectively for a total of more than 18 years in April 2025. A teenage boy who cannot be named for legal reasons was also involved and was given a youth rehabilitation order for 3 years, which included 240 hours unpaid work, a curfew, and electronic monitoring. Stoke-on-Trent Council leader Jane Ashworth said, "These were shocking and completely unprovoked attacks on hard-working crews. We hope today's sentencing will bring some comfort to the victims and their families and send a clear message. We will not tolerate violence or abuse against our staff in any circumstances." Thanks for watching another episode of UK Crime Caught on Camera and Shots. If you're watching us in Freeview, stay tuned for more authentic UK television curated from the hearts of British communities by journalists living in them. If you're watching anywhere else, please like, share us around, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Doing so helps us to keep creating content like this.